Hey everyone, Reflected here, and today I'd like to tell you about the background story of Paradise Lost, my upcoming DCS Huey campaign. I'm getting a lot of questions about whether it's a Vietnam War campaign or what. Well, yes and no. Let me explain. I always wanted to make a Vietnam War Huey campaign, but sadly we do not have a Vietnam map in DCS. So this left me with three options. A. Wait for a Vietnam map. I'm sometimes not very up to date on what's coming, but as far as I'm aware, it's not even planned. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even if it was planned, it would take years for it to be released, so this option is off the table. B. Use the Caucasus map and pretend it's Vietnam. The map wouldn't be too bad. It's got the mountains and everything, but there's already so many Huey campaigns using the Caucasus map, and let's face it, it's the oldest DCS map, and while it works well as a stand-in for Korea while flying a Sabre at 30k feet, it doesn't look too nice low and slow. It doesn't have palm trees either, which leaves me with option C. Use the new free Marianas map and come up with an alternate fictional history. After all, I can't pretend that a 30-mile long island is Vietnam, can I? The map looks amazing, it's very detailed, and most importantly, it's got palm trees, so I came up with an alternate history. According to this, there was a Chinese-backed communist coup in the Philippines, after which they started a hostile expansion, invading a large part of Indonesia and other countries. By 1968, they controlled the southern half of Guam too. There are some regular soldiers, but we're mostly talking about guerrilla warfare. The Filipino communists, so the FC, Foxtrot Charlie, or just Charlie, mingles among the population, and it's really hard to tell them apart from the generally friendly inhabitants of the southern villages. So the US is fighting with their hands tied behind their backs, not really being able to hit the enemy hard. Also, McNamara is scared that any large-scale action against the Philippines would result in the Chinese entering the conflict, like in Korea 15 years earlier. See, this is completely fictional and unrealistic, but the point was to create a conflict that is a lot like the Vietnam War in nature, so that I could recreate realistic Vietnam missions in a fictional setting. I apologize in advance to all Filipino players. It's all fiction. I have no beef with the Philippines. I have some friends from there, and it's a country I would love to visit one day. I hear they've got good surf there. Now the year is 1968, and you, Warrant Officer Jack Wilson, landed Anderson Air Force Base on board a C-130 to begin your one-year tour as a Huey pilot. You are assigned to A Company of the 4th Aviation Battalion, flying Slicks. That means Hueys transporting troops and cargo. You can expect resupplies, troop insertions, extractions, dust-offs, and some interesting and special missions that I'm not going to tell you about just yet. You'll quickly learn how to navigate, find friendly troops on the ground, land at very tight LZs or landing zones, often under enemy small arms fire without being able to shoot back. You'll also learn how to fly overloaded Hueys without redlining the EGT. Well, you'll learn all that or die trying. You'll start flying from the right seat, then become an aircraft commander and move to the left seat. See, ACs and Slicks flew from the left seat because the downward visibility through the chin bubble was better, and you need it when hovering down into tight LZs. In gunships, however, it was the other way around. Each mission represents a month of your one-year tour. After 6 months, so the 6th mission, your request is approved and you are transferred to B Company, flying gunships. You're finally able to shoot back, but you'll quickly learn that flying gunships is just as dangerous as flying Slicks. Just like in real life, gunship units used older model Hueys with weaker engines, and even taking off in one of these will present a challenge. You'll have to relearn some of the basics. Check out my gunship takeoff tutorial for more details. You can expect to escort Slicks on combat assaults, prep LZs, support the troops on the ground, and some other interesting mission types that should remain a surprise. With each mission, you'll realize how completely insane and pointless this whole war is, but you'll also find a purpose. The better you do your job, the more young Americans get to go home and see their loved ones. The 12th mission at the end is the grand finale, a really crazy one, and you'll absolutely love it, but I'm not gonna spoil the surprise. You'll need to play the campaign and find out for yourself. The missions are considered a success as long as you make it back to Anderson Air Force Base alive and land. That's it. No need to kill X amount of FCs or fly within parameters, etc. No. Your only punishment for not following the briefing and other instructions is missing the action and the fun. And I shall warn you, most of these missions will unfold in a very different way from how they were planned. So always make sure you're on the correct radio frequency and listen to your radios. You never know what may come up. If you survive your 1-year tour, you'll de-Ross to the States. See, this whole conflict is totally fictional. Don't even try to make sense of it. Some stuff will be quite illogical, but let it go. The idea was to come up with a scenario that is as similar to the Vietnam War as possible, so that I could make missions that are 99% historically accurate, that 1% being the location. You'll use the same procedures, fly the same kind of missions, face the same kind of challenges as if you were in Vietnam. And if you disregard the location and context, it's a very accurate representation of that conflict, and more of a historical campaign rather than a fictional one. The campaign should be coming with the December open beta update, but I cannot guarantee 100%. As I always say, I can only tell you for sure on the date after the update is released. Till then, I'll put a link to a nice playlist in the video description to get you all in the mood. My next video will be the trailer, which is absolutely epic, done by the one and only Dominic Keller. I can't wait to show you. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. See ya!